Miss Hewitt, how long was Anthony Kelly held at Barfield?
Almost 2 days.
Did you interview him?
No, I did not.
So you didn't actually know him at all?
I knew his age, plus information regarding his crime and his sentence.
But you did not actually see him on his admittance?
Until a prisoner has been interviewed by the probation department and the medical staff, until I have received a full and detailed report regarding his needs, be they educational, medical or domestic.
How long does that take?
In Anthony Kelly's situation, almost 2 days. I would just like to point out, in case you're not aware of it, that each wing also has its own governor and its own senior officer.
I'm sorry, Miss Hewitt, but who put Anthony Kelly, a young 24-year-old first offender, into a cell with 2 prisoners, both serving long sentences for violent crimes?
Objection, my lord. My client's previous record has no bearing on the present case.
Please rephrase the question, Miss Knatchbull.
Miss Hewitt, is cell 29D wing designed for 2 occupants?
Yes, that is correct.
How many occupants were allocated to cell 29D wing the night Colin Foster hanged?
3.
We have heard in court today that it is against Barfield prison regulations to allow men to associate in their cells. We have also heard that on the night Colin Foster died, 4 men were in the cell. The deceased makes 5.
My lord, I really cannot see why my learned friend feels obliged to repeat what has already been proved without objection.
Please rephrase your question, Miss Knatchbull.
Miss Hewitt, you stated that no officer was to be blamed for the tragic events. Yet surely they were sadly lacking in their duty that evening to allow 5 men in cell 29.
I'm sorry, what exactly is your question?
Do you admit that there was a negligence on the part of the officers on duty that night, the night Colin Foster died?
I am satisfied that there was no negligence.
You are satisfied that in this cramped cell, Anthony Kelly, a young 24-year-old boy who'd never been in prison before and only arrived the day before...
My lord, Miss Knatchbull is goading the witness.
Please make your questions more direct, Miss Knatchbull.
Why was Anthony Kelly placed in cell 29D wing, Miss Hewitt?
I had no alternative, no other accommodation available.
May I ask, Miss Hewitt, if you had had an alternative, would you still have delegated Mr. Kelly to cell 29?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. These 3 men then forced Anthony Kelly to take part in a sickening trial, accusing the deceased of being a nonce. A nonce? Anthony Kelly, only 24 hours earlier, had never even heard the expression.
Miss Knatchbull. Members of the jury, you will please ignore the implication that force was used by any of the defendants.
May I ask you, Miss Hewitt, from a humanitarian aspect, do you believe any proportion of blame can be attached to Barfield Prison?
Miss Knatchbull, I take full responsibility for the present running of Barfield. I am trying every possible means to curb the use of drugs.
Thank you very much for admitting responsibility. I have no further questions, ma'am.
No questions? Thank you, Monsieur. I think this will be a suitable time to adjourn.
The standing. This court stands adjourned until 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Prisoners Kelly, Reynolds, Braithwaite and Bolton are being taken back to Barfield. Transportation officers stand by.
If necessary, move him, Mr. Gordon. I do not want Anthony Kelly harassed in any way now. Is that clear? Thank you. I take full responsibility.
We were all messing about, and Colin, that's Colin Foster, he was sort of the main joker. I made some remark about him being a sex offender, sir. Anyway, Colin takes this the wrong way. He got a bit uptight and says, if I'm a nonce, you prove it. But we were still joking. It wasn't serious. Even Colin was laughing. It's just a joke.
If we may go on. Did you ever refer to yourself as the hangman?
No, I did not.
Did you give the titles judge, jury, and solicitor to any of the other members in cell 29?
No, I did not.
Did you tie the hands of the deceased Colin Foster behind his back?
No, I did not. I never touched him.
Mr. Braithwaite, did you assist in the hanging of the deceased Colin Foster in any way?
No, I did not. He'd done it himself.
I have no further questions, my lord.
Mr. Braithwaite, may I ask you how long you are presently serving at Barfield Prison?
Years.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Braithwaite?
14 years.
Mr. Braithwaite, were you, on the evening of Colin Foster's death, smoking illegal substances in cell 29?
No, I was not. I've never in my life smoked cannabis resin or marijuana. Can't. Got asthma.
Oh, I see. Why were you in cell 29 on the evening of Colin Foster's death?
I was just getting some tobacco.
But you have just stated that you did not smoke because you have asthma.
He got up on the chair. He was just fooling, like. And then... Oh, yeah, Officer Malahide, I think, walked past, or somebody did.
You're hearing all this, Anthony? You're getting it all, Anthony?
Better be hearing this good, Anthony. Understand me?
Next second,
You do the right thing, son. We're all in the same place. Right?
We thought you were kidding, His body was all limp, you see. It was just a joke.
No further questions, my lord.
Could I ask how long you are serving your present sentence, Mr. Walton?
Please answer the question, Mr. Walton.
5 years.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
I didn't even take any notice. I was reading. They was just messing about, so I kept reading. Next thing, Colin, he's on the floor. Then the alarm went and Mr. Malahide came running in. Colin didn't make a sound or call out. They were laughing 1 second and then I was told he was dead.
I have no further questions, my lord.
Mr. Reynolds, could I ask you how long you were acquainted with my client before this unfortunate and tragic incident took place?
No more than a day and a half.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Oh, there's just one more question. Could I ask you how long you're presently serving at Barfield Prison?
11 years.
I have no further questions. Thank you, my lord.
You were reading a book. They were messing around, and the deceased made no sound. He did not call out. Am I correct, Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Like they was cracking jokes, know what I mean?
I'm trying to know what you mean, Mr. Reynolds. I believe that the length of your cell would be about the same as the distance between Miss Knatchbull and myself. Would you agree?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, we can give you a few inches, but the distance is not great. It is, by any estimation, very small and claustrophobic, is it not?
I don't know.
There are 5 men in this small space, including yourself. Am I correct?
Yes, it's only a double cell, but they moved in an extra bunk for Kelly.
See, Anthony, we're all backing each other.
We all do it, none of us will go down for it.
Only needs one of us to screw it up, Anthony. Don't even think about it.
Around his own neck, tied the other end to an air vent, fell from the chair, breaking his neck. And you, Mr. Reynolds, did not see anything because you were immersed in your book.
I had earplugs in.